Hi, welcome to Books to Boardrooms with Dr. Kiran. Today I have the privilege of having Mr. Sreedhar Bevara. He is the CEO of BMR Innovation. He is an author who has written a couple of books in the leadership arena. And in today's interview, I would like to focus more on the organization, what he's having, the role of leadership, and how he see these things changing in this market. So, Mr. Sreedhar, thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you. Thank you
Welcome to Books to Boardrooms.
Thank you.
Sreedhar, can you just give me a little idea what exactly is BMR Innovation does?
BMR Innovations is basically we focus on two areas. One is leadership, which is eternally a very important area. Even whether it is business leadership, wherever that is, leadership is the core essence of the entire progress. And the second thing is we help companies whether to bring funds, whether to expand themselves. So these areas we also keenly look into, and we help companies. Also we are working with governments. Governments also sometimes they need foreign investments, companies to come in, technology to come in, so that their overall GDP and the employability becomes much better. So we are working with few governments as well.
So BMR Innovation is more of a consulting, focusing on innovation, leadership, and finance.
Correct.
So when you work with government, I know that you are closely associated with the government of Goa.
Yes.
In promoting innovation and entrepreneurship. Can you just throw some light on that?
The government of Goa, we had the opportunity. I'm an advisor in their innovation council, appointed by the chief minister of the Goa, Dr. Pramod Sawant. What we do is, in the typical classroom versus the physical environment, there are two different arenas, and we have to bridge the gap. Bridging the gap to zero is not possible, because study is study, realistic is realistic. So what we do is we bring international experts, we bring companies, we bring venture capitalists, so that we try to bridge the gap between what is unreal in the classroom versus what is real in the physical environment. And also we try to identify some disruptive ideas. We handhold them through the venture capitalists or the angel investment by putting some seed investment. Mentoring is another area where we are focusing more. So these are some of the areas we are looking at.
So say your organization is based out of UAE. So if an organization is contacting you so what sort of requirement they come up saying that, okay, this is the reason we want BMR Innovation to come and help us.
Okay.
So what sort of gaps they see, and how you look into those gaps and say that how are you going to transform that organization?
There are three types of companies who would approach us, three types of rather problems who would approach us. The first one is you have a good product and your limited market is doing well, and now you are ready to expand yourself. You need more investment and you need new markets. This is where we come into the play. We then connect them to who can be a likely partner for them if the value system is aligned between this and the new, and then there is a collaboration that is formed, and then some investment is made, and then they will be taken into the other markets. The second one is they have a problem in the company. They have everything right, they have a great product, but the product is not selling, or there is a problem with the entire organization where the people are not aligned with the vision or the philosophy of the company. Again, we come there and we try to sit down and understand what are we sort of a diagnostics, what we try to do, and we try to identify what are the challenges, and then we try to bridge those little bit of gaps. Originally they have all the potential, they have the capability, that's why they have a successful product. Probably they are doing a great business. So our job is to just fix those little areas and then let them keep flowing. The third one is purely the problem with the people, where leadership and the teams are not aligned. And teams are sometimes they are disoriented they don't know what they're doing. Their actions are not aligned with the founder's philosophy or the vision of the company. When you do not have that connection, the purpose of achieving or doing something will not have the real essence of what really founders want you to do. So this is where we come, and then we try to align people with the philosophy of the vision of the company. So these three main areas that what we work on.
So let me focus more, because you are more focused into where you are known as a leadership author. I like to focus some questions in the leadership area. So the third point, what you told, in terms of that there is a misalignment between the founder and the employees.
Okay.
So is it you see as a gap as a leadership quality in the founder, or is it the gap in the top management the founder has appointed and their misalignment with the employees? So where you see the gap and why this gap is creating?
You know what happens is when you reach certain milestone, your leadership may not be actually as greater as it was before. It happens. Suddenly you find new markets, you find new opportunities. So converting them into your opportunities, sometimes the previous leadership may not be enough. That time, you know, the leader has to have the sense of how do we collaborate and forge alliances with the additional forces, because one person will not know everything, and the sooner the realization, the better is for the company. This is one area. Now the second area is when the vision of the founder is very clear and the founder knows what to do, what to offer. For example, if the founder is in the service area, the founder always wanted to give a delight service to the end consumer. And if the person who is at the desk, the end delivery person is not understanding that philosophy of opportunity, offering the delight service to the customer, then there is a big chance of not transferring that what the value system of the founder to the end consumer, end user. So these are some of the areas where there are gaps. So we have to keep working on them, because today Bill Gates at the age of 70 plus still believes he requires mentors. This is not the case in especially the Asian markets. Asian markets, you work for a couple of years and then you become an expert. You claim to be an expert. You do not need any intervention of new technology, new expertise. You don't want to learn further. They keep reading. You have to upskill yourself constantly. And I was talking about Bill Gates. He still considers Ray Dalio into investment. He's one of his mentors. Mr. Elon Musk claims that he has more than 10 mentors. This is very important. You have to constantly upskill yourself, abreast. You have to keep yourself abreast with what's happening around, especially in the area where you want to excel. So yeah, these are the areas where we are trying to be some value addition.
So you act as that mentorship, your organization acts as a mentorship role.
Correct.
To help all those leaders to upgrade. So just one more question about that area itself. So if an organization is, the employee and the leadership is misaligned, or the management or the vision and the employees is misaligned, or they really don't know, whom you should blame? Is it the responsibility of the leadership, or is it the employees who should be knowing what our organization is standing for? Who has to take the liability or the responsibility?
This is a very, very relevant and pertinent question. I'll tell you why. I'm sure you're also mentioning the culture of the company.
Yes.
Many times what happens is leadership always tries to blame the lower sections. Culture, the misalignment, the vision, the philosophy, everything is top-down approach. The culture is actually set by the top layer. It is not set by the lower layer. It is not a bottom-up approach, it is top-down approach, culture. The founder ensures this is my philosophy of the company. This is how my company wants to work. This is how my employee will be treated. This is how my customer will be treated. These are unnegotiable elements for a founder. And if while he is talking something, but he is not implementing that into his real life. For example, he says an employee should not be working for more than 8 hours. But then every month he insists that he has to achieve the targets no matter what. And these guys are working invariably for more than 12 hours a day. You're not following what you're saying. So these are areas. At the same time, sometimes founder is giving all the effort to pass it down to the lower layer of the company. But there could be some fringe elements where they don't understand these elements. And within interdynamics, within departments, within teams, there are certain clashes. But the fundamental reason for all this is the founder is not creating the circle of the safety. If the lowest employee of the company is never ever threatened with his job, even when she or he is making a mistake, even if she or he is lack of some knowledge, still that person should have the feeling of I have my founder back. He's going to encourage me. He's not going to fire me. The moment you bring this kind of a sense of security in the minds of the people, in the minds of lowest form of the employee, suddenly the performance level becomes much more, it is no exaggeration, it becomes absolutely different level.
So, now when you say that, okay, now what you told is leadership plays a very important role in creating that culture, bringing that environment, understanding and accepting. So, do you think that leaders do accept that that's a gap, because that's where you come into the picture? But they need to, so when you do a full diagnosis,
Yes.
and then you identify that a lot of changes has to be brought in from the leadership level, are they receptive? Do you find sort of resistance, and how you overcome those resistance? Because unless they are not ready to change as per your recommendation, then your organization will not perform, because they are not ready to accept it, and then the result will not be shown. So you want the leader to change. So how you manage that scenario?
This is the challenge. This is the real challenge. Two things here. One is we have to step one step ahead. First of all, let us look from the perspective of the leader. Now, leader who is spending money, who is investing money, who is paying salaries, who is also taking the loss, who is going through a lot of nonsense, to be very honest. And leadership is one of the most thankless jobs, to be very, very honest. Now, leader is going through all this, his product is not being sold, and every month end his expenses are not going to just disappear. In that frame of mind, you come and say these things, it may not make greatest sense to that person. So you have to balance. There cannot be a sweeping change right on the day one. You have to be very, very careful, understand what is the leader's challenges. As a leader, you have your own challenges, and you have to understand what are these challenges. Based on those challenges, you have to come up with some midway approach. Any change you cannot just force right on the day one. It has to be gradual, it has to be organic, and then at the same time the acceptance of these challenges. Yeah, it's not easy, because a leader always thought that that person is in charge of this baby. So obviously some outsider comes and tells, then easily for a leader to say is, this guy doesn't understand what I'm going through. Hence the doctor of these problems should be able to do that proper analysis and understand what are the challenges of the leader, so that it is easy. Now leader is also realizing that this person is able to understand my challenges. So that becomes a different scenario.
I think that's really great what you told right now, because first of the leader is the person who is going to appoint you or your organization for your service, and if you go and say that the whole problem lies with him, he's not going to take it in a nice way. But because you told that you do a full analysis, and then you try to understand the circumstance and scenarios of the leader also, and then you put it in such a, show him that the benefit the organization is to get by implementing those change. I think that requires a lot of experience, and because I think your previous industry experience in Panasonic and other organizations is definitely LG is going to, because you've been in that position, you managed people. I think that will definitely help you.
Correct.
So what I think that I'd like to wind up this interview by asking one very important question. As I told you, the leaders need to accept that there is a gap, and then they need to invite you, which they are not able to see. Then you look from a third point and your understanding in. But not necessarily all the leaders are ready to call. Sometimes they feel or calling a consultant because it's an incapability of them. So keeping that in mind, what will be you wrote quite a lot great books about leadership. So you've been in leadership position, your professional life is in leadership, you wrote books about leadership. Right now you are working with multiple organizations to understand the talent gap and providing strategies for bridging this gap. From all these things, if I need whoever is watching get a free advice from your side, what should leaders basically should do to have a conducive working environment for the organization to flourish?
I think they have to clearly have two layers. One is the finite layer, the other one is infinite layer. What is finite layer is your numbers, your targets, your monthly deadlines. These are finite. But you have to have an approach of the infinite leadership, which is you keep comparing. I always say it's not bad to compare with what are the good forces around. If a company is doing good, if a company is having greater products than your products, I think you have to start admiring that. Only then you are able to compete with your own resources. So competition is with yourself, comparison with the others. Why competition is with yourself is because you have your own challenges of resources, investments, ability to expand yourself, or whether or not you can put money into the R&D so that you can bring a greater product than the competitor. So competitor is always a worthy element for a good company. This is one of the biggest strategies. Why Tim Hortons is always next to Starbucks? Because Tim Hortons is obviously a Starbucks in US that is to Canada. But Tim Hortons also believes it is greater to be right in the vicinity of the Starbucks, because they also believe they have almost at par with the Starbucks. So to have a worthy competition, so that it is always a greater opportunity for companies to learn. This is the only way you can develop. And the second thing is to have this infinite approach. You have to have a vision that is never possible today. This is why it is called vision. It never exists. For example, United States, after the revolution and everything, the founding fathers of United States, they put perpetual idea of all people are equal. Do you think that is what is happening in US?
No.
Every day they strive to become that society. For example, India, because why India and US I have taken, because these two are the biggest democracies. Now, India is also having this similar idea of everybody is treated equally. But then is that what is happening there? No, there are disparities. But India as a country, the leadership should always be working towards bringing this eternal idea of that is an ideal vision. These visions are not possible and they will never be achieved today. Hence, this is a very open approach, and that's why we call it infinite leadership. The people should have this open mind. Idea of we are never ever exactly the best shape today. No, that's not the case. You always are fine tuning yourself, sharpening your skill, upskilling yourself, look around the opportunities. The collaboration I was talking about, the biggest opportunity for anybody to become greater is to be able to forge alliances with unlikely forces. If you are good at science, Dr. Nair, then you have to have somebody who is good at social studies, so that your combination can offer a better proposition to the society or to the area that you are working at. Many people fail to understand this collaboration idea. And in the name of collaboration, they do collaborate, and you know thousands of companies how they have broken down because they are not aligned with the value system. The current leader, I think we should be congratulating the President of the United Arab Emirates. I'll tell you 2-3 areas where what he is doing. 2050's vision of UAE is having greatly shared purpose with the entire world. Now, the President of the United Arab Emirates had already had the vision of sending a person to the space, a probe to the Mars, opening a nuclear reactor here. These are all not for now. These are all for the future, and these are all for the unborn. The moment your vision does not have the place for the unborn, then that means you are not an open leader. And without open leadership, there is no place for you as a leader. This is very important.
So concluding from what you said, 3 very important points. One, of course, you need to be a visionary, right? You need to be a visionary which is beyond today.
Correct.
The second is you need to accept your competition, and you need to understand, and you need to appreciate your competition, because without that you will not be able to survive and grow. And the third one is
to have the collaboration.
Yeah, I mean collaboration is very important. So because you cannot do anything alone. So I think Thanks a lot for sharing this information, and I'm
Thank
sure leaders who are watching or people who really want to aspire to be great leaders, I think they should, they should look at themselves in that. Are they going to get scared of competition? Are they having a very collaborative mindset, and do they have a clear vision? Thanks a lot, Sreedhar, for taking your time. It was wonderful talking to you.
My pleasure.
And I wish you all the very best for yourself and your organization in bridging these gaps in this market and make organization a great organization to work with.
And I must say, Dr. Kiran, you're doing a great job bringing the experts in here, and selflessly you are trying to share these noble. This is a noble approach.
Thank you.
This is something that I'm talking about. This kind of leadership is going to do a lot of benefit for the society, and eventually you will find how to monetize this. But your noble idea of sharing your expertise, bringing the experts, and then making them share their expertise to the society, I think commendable.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. That's my purpose. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.